What images coming out of Japan over the last week have stayed with you as the strongest images? The images have been arresting, I'd say, as they flowed out of Japan day and night across the world. Some of those images will stay with us for a very long time, I suspect. One that is with me still, that's very strong inside of me, actually, was this scene where this guy is just driving, I guess, to work, a typical day, mid-morning, driving along one of the coastal roads. For some reason, he had his camera phone on, and he took pictures of this wave starting to approach. And then it made its way over this barrier, and then it started to wash across this road, this 30-foot wave, and then it lifted his car up off the highway and turned it into a boat. And it just carried him along for a ways. Arresting indeed. He lived to talk about it. He was one of the lucky ones. But it was frightening to see. It was disconcerting. How powerful these images of this thing called a tsunami really are. We've heard of tsunami before. We've seen the damage they've done afterwards, and a few videos or pictures here and there, very few of them actually happening in other places. But never this many. Never have we seen so many graphic images of the terrible toll of this thing called a tsunami and its power. Never have we had so many images. Sometimes, my friends, revelation happens. Revelation happens for you and for me. And it happens through many things. It happens sometimes when we least expect it. And it happens even through the events of nature, even those events of nature that are sometimes the most horrific. These are revelations. And what makes them revelations is they show us something of the deep down things. They show us something of ourselves, something of this mystery we've named God, something of what matters in our lives. Some of these revelations are perhaps very, very obvious, but some perhaps are a little deeper. And it takes a little deeper listening sometimes to us for us to finally begin to get it. What might a tsunami reveal? What might a tsunami teach us? Teach us about our own true nature. I propose at least 7 lessons of a tsunami. The first, know your power. You are powerful. It is your nature to be powerful. And with your power, you can destroy. Second lesson. Sometimes you leave and you don't clean up after yourself. Sometimes you make a mess of things. You make a mess of things in your families. You make a mess of things at work. You make a mess of things in your friendships. Sometimes you make a mess of things with your God. The lesson of the tsunami is You make a mess of things sometimes, and it might be time to clean up after yourself. It might be time to say, I'm sorry. And it might be time to do some repairing of the damage you've done. Maybe that's the least we could do. Third lesson. Be prepared. Be prepared. Knowing all the while there are some things for which you can never, ever be prepared. Fourth lesson. Just 6 words. Things can change in an instant. Enough said. Lesson number 5. A tsunami is oblivious to human life. A tsunami is oblivious to human life. It is indifferent to you and to every person in its path. There are so many people you will encounter along the way of your life who will not care about you, not in the least, who will take no interest in you, and maybe even be out to get you, to hurt you, even to destroy the work of your hands and your relationships, and even your relationship with God. If there's one thing the Scriptures make clear again and again, it's we will have enemies, you and I. We will have enemies. That's the truth. It's the hardest truth for me, but it's the truth. And to begin to imagine a life without enemies is to be very deluded, and even maybe to cause more pain. It's part of the deal, you guys. There's so many people we're going to run into along the way who will be totally indifferent to us. They will take no interest in us at all. And they may even want to hurt us. That's just the truth. The 6th lesson. Just 2 words. Nothing lasts. Absolutely nothing lasts. Some of the most horrifying scenes were of people's homes. Now, you know what your home means to you. You know how hard you've worked to make that building your home. You know how much time and hours you spent to make it beautiful and livable and a place where love can happen. You know the stories of conversations and arguments and lovemaking that have happened inside that walls. And to know that in an instant, this thing called a tsunami can cut that building in half and throw it against a dam or a bridge. Like that, nothing lasts. Absolutely nothing lasts. Washed away forever. And the last lesson. After tsunami, it doesn't take long for the skies to be beautiful again and the sun to shine, almost as if nothing happened, when really everything happened. Everything's changed. Nothing's the same. Life goes on, you know? And your worst days might be somebody else's best day. And you could just find out your best friend died and be standing on a street corner and seeing all these cars go by, and 99.99% of the world's life goes on like nothing happened, and you're standing there knowing the whole world has fallen out from under you in that moment. Life goes on for everybody else, and it will for you. True. That's just true. The good news is, and this is good news, and these are hard lessons. These are really hard lessons, but they're true. And the good news of it is that God is there. In all of that, even when you encounter the haters, God is there. The one who is love is there. The one who is love is there not to stop the hater from hating you, not to stop the instantaneous from instantaneously happening to you, not to stop the world from falling out from under you. No. We have Jesus as an example of that. But God will be there. The one who is love will be there in those scenes of utter desolation and devastation. Love will be there through the rubble of our lives, telling us the truth about ourselves that will set us free. And love will rebuild through the devastation, through the rubble, through the ruins. Love will rebuild. As awful and terrifying as life is, we can hope, knowing the power of life, to move underneath of things, to bubble up again, to rebuild, to speak to us in the ruins of our lives. Love will be there, and people from half a globe away from us, 10,000 miles, will stop to care, to be moved, to be touched, to respond. And the one who is compassion will be the one we will know in that moment. For God is total compassion, absolute compassion. And when compassion happens, God happens. Right there, right then. That's an unveiling. Whatever compassion you felt as you watched those scenes unfold, that's God. That's God. What does all this have to do with the story of the Transfiguration, you may be wondering? Well, there's that one word in that gospel. As the scene unfolds before before James, John, and Peter, just one word. Listen. Listen, my friends. If we listen to life, if we listen even through disaster when it strikes, if we listen to what is happening right in front of us, we can be changed. We can be changed for the better. If we take these lessons to heart, you and I can be transfigured. And something of light, something of glory will shine. Will shine so that we don't get bitter about this stuff, so we don't despair, but that we carry on. And something of light, something of glory is going to shine through us for others' sake, even in the most terrible disaster, so that we can discover our own true nature. As we watch these scenes coming out of Japan, played out again and again on our screens, as we see nature at its most ferocious, just one word remains. Listen. Listen.